Yeah, that was honestly quite a killer race that I saw there. It was pretty fun to watch. I was on the edge of my seat almost at all times. I'm honestly flabbergasted that a lot of these drivers were able to manage three wide into two sets into every damn turn. Like, good mother of Hades. And how about Truex finally manning the fuck up and moving his teammate Denny Hamlin out of the fucking way to win again at Martinsville? But I really got to feel for Blaney because, good gravy, he was having a dominant car only for him to run over the pit gun hose. He was able to salvage at least an 11th place finish, just shy out of the top 10, but damn. Too good to be true. As well as Bubba Wallace potentially finishing in the top 10 after having a top 10 run all day long until he got into a lot of tangles with a lot of drivers in the front straightaway. Even with a wounded ass car. Yeah, I already have this much to say about quite a chaotic race at Martinsville. Believe it or not, it shows how much I have enjoyed 2021 so far as NASCAR goes. Also, more drivers that I got a feel for is most certainly Daniel Suarez. He's like the modern Johnny Benson Jr., where he was let go from a top-tier team only to descend down into very low-funded teams and actually show a lot of promise being top 5 or maybe even race win contenders in such a shitmobile. Only for him to get into the big one in the back straightaway after he was pushed out of line up into the wall by Byron, which could have been avoided, only for him to get locked into an unavoidable situation when Chris Buescher and Kyle Busch had a tangle. Then all hell broke loose. And I also got a feel for Alex Bowman when he was having a top 10 run all day long, only for him to have a vibration, get into pit road, and then locked all the way into the back of the pack, and then get caught up in the big one as well. A lot of good cars got caught up in that big one. Brad Keselowski, who was my original pick, and then got completely shocked out of existence. So then diverted my prediction to Denny Hamlin, but even that was denied by his teammate, Martin Truex Jr. And now, by the way, guys, Martin Truex Jr. is the first repeat winner. The consecutive streak of different winners has now officially come to an end. But don't worry, we're still going to get a lot of diversity in winners. This season's far from done. And don't worry, Chase fans, I know you're disappointed. I know I really wanted that win too, was really hoping he could come in clutch, but we're gonna settle for a second place for now. Second's still good. He's really improving himself after a bit of a hiccup the first couple of races, but now he's getting everything dialed in. He's patching up all those loose ends so he can go all out for a potential championship. Remember, Tony Stewart was no different the beginning of his 2005 saga for his second championship, where he only had one top 5 and 3 top 10s, and then I think it was Michigan in the summer where he finished second place, and then the rest was history in 2005. I even saw 3 out of 5 of his 2005 wins that year too. 3 consecutive races that I attended, I saw Tony Stewart win. So maybe that could give me hope for Chase Elliott. We're gonna have to see how it plays out first. So yeah, all in all, this is like one of the best Martinsville races in like forever. Better than any in 2020, for certain better than 2019. Has trumped 2018 as well, definitely better than 2017. I would even admit that it's better than 2016 and 2015. A little bit better, just a teeny bit better than 2014, but not a whole lot. Who can really argue against 2014? Even as a Jimmy Johnson fan, liked the moment where Kurt Busch, with a heavily wounded car, was able to pass him in the closing laps. And was happy that Kurt Busch actually ended his streak that race. It was also better than 2013, 2012, definitely 2011, and 2020. This is like one of my favorite Martinsville races in forever. I feel like my passion for NASCAR was renewed from this Martinsville race. I know it seems like I'm fanboying a little bit too hard, but hey, come on. Give me a break. It was fun to watch. I loved how a lot of people were doing a lot of these ballsy moves without outright dumping them constantly, even though the caution number went up to 15, but nevertheless, most of these drivers displayed talent. And I was, to say the very least, absolutely entertained. And how about that? All Hendrick cars, except for Alex Bowman, of course, finished in the top 5. Larson 5th, Byron 4th, and Elliott 2nd. Bowman probably could have had a say in that until he had a vibration which sent him in the back of the pack and completely outright botched him out of the race. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I guess the curse of the 48 is still existent. You just can't escape from piss poor luck of numbers that have 7 championships to it. Whether it's the 43, the 3 itself, or 48. The bad luck just never ends, I guess. Even if you're holding out hope that maybe it'll be potentially rekindled, always something bullshit happens again and again and again, I guess. I'm glad that Jimmy Johnson no longer has to be in NASCAR to experience this bullshit because, well, maybe it's more of a 48 thing than a Cliff Daniels thing. Because the bad luck with the 48 just never ends, I guess. Whatever. Just can't. I don't know how it's gonna at least halt for a little bit. Or have a little bit, just at least a little bit of a resurgence, but whatever. Same thing as always, not gonna constantly repeat myself. Yeah, so that race was pretty much all you can ever possibly expect from a short track race. This is about as typical of a Martinsville race you could ever expect. Finally, Martin Truex Jr. manned the fuck up and actually moved his teammate out of the way. Now, if he can only do it to other competitors, which I'm sure he has in the past, but just considering that Martin Truex Jr. had a bit of a ghostly gap of wins in between his Martinsville win from last year and Phoenix, I can't really say much on that, so... Now, if Martin Truex Jr. can keep that aggressive consistency up, he's game. Nevertheless, I like how Chase Elliott is putting himself back on track, putting all the ridiculous fluke bad luck behind him. Hopefully, that was only a phase that he was going through. I'm pretty sure it can be a phase. His worst finish outside of his DNF is 21st, and even then he dominated that race, so there's that. Blaney won the first 2 stages, but of course, just when he was going to be a threat to win the race, a caution came out for Chase Briscoe, and Ryan Blaney went in with the field to get his pit stop, and he was an entire air gun away from potentially winning that race. So instead, it was Truex. Oh well, it is what it is, I guess. A win will come for him eventually. He salvaged what he could out of that setback. You gotta give him credit. He really did try all the way. So yeah, 2021 so far has been entertaining to watch, to say the very least. I wouldn't say it's an outright thrill ride from start to finish like 2011 was, 2016, 2013, 2014, and for the most part 2017 was, but it is decent to say the very least. Season's still far from over, and it has shown a lot of promise to being one of the most memorable seasons of all time. I really hope that NASCAR doesn't oversell itself by saying it'll be the best season ever. Then turns out the remainder of the series will just be absolute subpar garbage. I'm certainly glad it didn't oversell they didn't oversell themselves in the 2019 season, because we would have called them absolute frauds, overhyping bullshit. So far, this season has been living up to most expectations, given its schedule revamp. Let's just hope it continues its consistency. So yeah, that's all I really have to say on Martinsville. Congrats to Martin Truex Jr. Good job, Chase Elliott, salvaging a podium finish. I'm sure the win's going to come pretty soon, and I'm pretty sure you're going to show everyone that you're going to be a threat, and you're far from out of contention. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed my review. It was really fun to watch. A lot of beating and banging, a lot of three-wide moves in even the corners. A lot of people had the balls to move each other out of the way, and it was just overall fun to watch. Alright. With all that said, so long, and see you on my Birmingham review, since the IndyCar season is starting up, and that only means we're going to get to see and witness Jimmie Johnson operate an open-wheel car full-time on the road course schedules, at least, but he's excluding the ovals on the schedule. Alright, with all that said, see you in my Birmingham stream. With all due respect to Richmond, Birmingham is what matters to me most, since my main man is going to be participating in IndyCar. So, I said all I can say. Sorry for rambling. I was just a little too carried away with how absolutely fun as fuck this Martinsville race really was. Thank you for watching. Spacing out. And go Jimmy and Chase.